Hi there, CARS users. Welcome to the tutorial that will actually teach you how to log into our CARS e-learning platform. So there's going to be a number of things that we're going to be going through. First is I'm going to have you learn how to go about checking your email and going to the email and clicking on the link and then installing the Google Authenticator app. That's for your phone, your smartphone. And once we do that, we will then go and set up the account, and I'm going to go and walk you through this. Okay, so let's see how we do this. So the most important thing is that you need to have access to your email account. Now I have on my laptop here having to set up everything here already for this tutorial, and for today I will actually use a free disposable email account to show you how this works. So this here is the actual account that we'll be using, and this account here will be the one that will be using Sam. And the way I do it is I go to my email inbox. So any email service that you would use, you would actually go in there and you would actually see the exact same format. Now the color wise it's going to be a little bit different, depends on the email service that you have. And here it actually has a title that's New CARS e-learning account email verification. And this actual email is only valid for 24 hours. So do not have yourself try and redo this after 24 hours. Your driving school will have to redo this for you again later. So what you need to do in this email is that you need to have yourself do two things. One is to click on confirm my account. Two is to download the application that's required for the two-factor authentication. Now there's two versions of this, depends on your phone that you actually use. You either have the Android version or the iOS version. So whichever phone operating system you use, just go in there accordingly. So I'm going to show you in a bit as to how you go about doing that. But let's go to the confirm my email link. Once you have clicked on this, this will actually be our page to complete the registration process. So this here will start out with the title, registration confirmation, and you do need the authentication app. So what you need to do here is to set up the password. So I do not want to have myself just put any password. I must have at least 8 characters in length, all right, numbers and letters and special character required. So at least one uppercase. What does that mean? You need one capital letter and then you need one digit. Any digit from 1 to 9 and then maybe even 0, at least one. And then one special character such as at, $sign, number sign, etc. And then the last thing that's required is that you do not have a sequential set of numbers or letters such as ABC or 1, 2, 3 or ASD here. So you have to have yourself set it up accordingly. So I'm going to set it up with the password that I'm going to use, and it's a good idea that you actually have yourself write this password here. This password could be retrieved, but it's probably a good idea to write it down somewhere. So I've already put my password in there, and I'm now going to go and select the security questions. So there's 3 in total that you have to set up. So the first one is whatever you like. I mean, there's a whole bunch of questions that's over here. So I'm going to just pick on the first one. What was the house number that you actually lived on? And you know what, I'm just going to put whatever answer it is. So let's say I remember I lived at 57. Right? So I would actually select that, and I would then have the 4 last digits of the phone number that I actually remember as a child. So I'm just going to use any number in this case. All right. Please don't use these for yourself. You probably want to use something that you do perhaps remember, and maybe the first job that I actually went to. Now I worked in Toronto. That's my first part-time job or full-time job. But you know what? If you're going to put T as in capital T for Toronto, make sure you remember that it's capital. And once I actually have myself do that, I highly recommend that you use your smartphone and take a picture of the screenshot, or if you actually know how to do screenshots on your computer, you could do that too, to have that as future reference so that you don't have a problem recovering this. It is right now could be a problem if you actually don't know or remember this. All right. Now the third thing we're going to do is to go and have ourselves set up the Google Authenticator app, and there's 2 versions, like I said, Google Play and App Store, whichever you actually do, but you have to do it from your phone and not from this particular link. It will not work on a Windows or Mac PC. It has to be a smartphone application that's installed on your phone. Okay, so I'm going to pause it right now and show you how to go about doing that. So this is the part that I would actually teach you as to how you go about doing the downloading of the application on your Android device, if that's what you use. If you actually use the iOS version, then there's another part that's going to be on the iOS tutorial. So here we go. So we're going to go into our Play Store, and once we actually go into the Play Store, what we want to do is to go to the search here, and we would want to search Google. So Google Authenticator. So that's the first one at the top here. Once I actually have myself select that, as you can see, it's an app. It's fairly small. All you need to do is just click on install, and if you need to have yourself enter the password, you can do all that. And once I actually have this installed, it will be verified, and once I'm done, I can open it or go into your app drawer to get that. Now there's this next part here which I need to have myself do, and that is to have myself get started. Now when I want to get myself started, I do want to have myself click on the Get Started button that's over here. So the Get Start button here, as I could see, once I click on this, there's two options. There's scan a QR code, and there's also enter a setup key. Now, enter a setup key is the manual version. Scan a QR code is the easier version. So I'm going to show you the harder one first. I'm going to click on enter the key. And if I actually do that, then what I would do is I would go on my registration page, and I would actually see a unique key that's given to me underneath the QR code. I could manually do that. So let's say I have the name here as Sam, and the key is whatever, in this case it's IK, but please do not use what I'm using because it will not work for your account. And once I finish all that, I would then go and leave it time-based and then go to add. Now I don't want to do it the hard way, I'm going to do it the easy way. So I'm going to go with the scan a QR code option. When I do that, it might ask me for permission, so I would actually go to allow. Once I do allow, I would then point that at my screen, and I would actually have this here set up the account, and I then just select add account, and that would be there. Now this is the unique two-factor authentication number that's actually produced every 30 seconds or so. So if I was actually wanting to log in every time to the CARS platform, I have to use this key that's going to change constantly. iOS version, all you need to do is to have yourself go into the App Store. You would then search Google Authenticator. It's again, usually if you type in the exact wording, it's the first one on the list. You would then have yourself download it. You might need to enter your password or set up the account. And once you do that, you would open it up. You would actually select the begin setup. And once you do that, you would do the same procedure, scan, barcode, or manual entry. And once you have done that, then you would actually start the exact same procedure. So once you are ready to continue with the page, you would actually enter the key, 6-digit key that's provided by the Google Authenticator from iOS or the Android app. So I'm going to enter it right now for mine. So again, please do not use the code that's here. It would not work. So once I do that, it would actually tell me that I've successfully completed the registration process. Now, if you were to reset the password, it is exactly the same procedure. You just have to go to your the main page, select Forgot Password, and you actually would go to your email and do the exact same thing. All right, so here's what we do. We now go to our login page. Once we're at the login page, we would then go back here and select our account. So I'm using the account, and you're not going to be able to get in with this account anyways. So the two-factor authentication code, so this again, don't use this code, it constantly changes, and I'm going to log in. So once you have yourself logged in, this is our account, and it says, "Hi Sam, welcome to the driving school," which is I'm actually using a test account. So once you actually have yourself log in, you will see a number of things. I'm going to give you a tutorial walkthrough of the whole entire page. So we do have the menu icon that's over here on the left with the 3 bars. We do have the CARS logo. You can click on this to return to the dashboard at any given time. We do even have the options over here with My Profile. So if you want to set up My Profile and update your information, you could do that. You could actually go in there, for example, you could see the information that I have here. I could go and edit this. The only thing that cannot be edited is the class of license and the driver's license number. But if you want to change your email, you can do that, your name. All right. So I'm going to just go press update. You change your password here as well. And this would actually give you an idea as to what you have done. This is the course summary. Right? So I'm going to go back to the main page. I could click on this here to get to the main page. Now once I get to the menu icon here, I do have tutorials, so if you want to watch this video again, it would be located under tutorial. And if you go to syllabus here, syllabus is the information that you need to sort of go through before you could start the course. So I would actually click on this. It is mandatory that you do this. So I'm going to quickly do this for you. And here, it would actually go through my information and my partner's information. And you could actually read this if you want. And you have to agree with all those. If you wanted to mute this at any time, you could just select mute at any given time and not having to worry about the audio. It is all the way through the whole entire program. You have this audio bar that's available for you to pause and play, as well as control the volume. So when I'm done, I could click on the close, and I could go on to the different options over here.
To provide beginner drivers in Ontario with an exciting, creative, interactive e-learning course that is based on best
control, such as the bottom here, I have the topics. So this is what we call topics. Whatever page that you wanted to go to, it would be selected from here. All right. And once I actually wanted to continue, I could actually press the play button. This here is the course purpose. Each student must go through the whole entire process, read everything here accordingly,
the CARS e-learning
and
course
go
objectives.
through
the curriculum will
here.
present Ontario as a very diverse driving culture.
Right. So this is all actually presented here. There's also the seek bar that's over here. This here is showing you the time that it's allocated. In this case, it's not timed for you, but it would take you easily 20 minutes to read through everything. You could actually refresh the page if you like. At any given time you want to refresh, that's what you press. The audio control, you could actually change the audio loudness from here, and the closed caption option if it's available over here. I could also go to full screen if I wanted to, so I can make it full screen. The shortcut for full screen is Control F to go full screen or go back to normal view. If you're in full screen, you could also press the escape key to get back to your normal view. So I could actually do that, and then previous and next, but do remember there's previous and next up here, and there's actually
course objectives.
The one that's down
the curriculum
here.
Will.
All right. So I have to go through this, and you have to enter the information exactly as it appears on your driver's license. So let's say my information that I use to register is this here. Again, please do not copy this information. This is not accurate for anybody. It's just for a demonstration purpose. Okay? And I'm going to use the email address that was here, Sam, all right? And this here is the email address that I would be using. So I would not copy this email address. It wouldn't be available at any given time. So here it is. I just copy and paste that in there. I would then send. I have to then select, I hereby agree with the statement over here. There's audio in this here if you like to hear it. All right, then I go to next, and it would give me the information which I need to agree with to submit. Then all that information is sent into the system. If it's actually an error, then this would not be recognized here. So that's why it's giving me an error message. All right. If I actually have myself getting this error message, I have to redo this again. So I have to go to previous.
The authors.
All right.
Sam Chong.
Anyways, so this is the syllabus. You must have yourself complete that with the accurate information. Then you'll be able to unlock the modules and the home links as well. If you actually have completed everything in this course, then you would actually go to the final test. As you can see here, you have to complete all modules, quizzes, home links before you can actually complete the final test at the end of the course. Then we have the FAQ that's over here. You do have all the common questions that's asked by students that's over here. You could go through them as you like. Then we have the glossary. So any particular term in this course that you might have yourself not knowing what it means, you could go to the glossary over here. And the last one here is to contact the driving school. So if you actually wanted to contact the school for tech support, for example, all right, then you would type this in. Category, you would actually go whatever the issue is, and then your message, I need help. Right? So this would actually be forwarded to your driving school. Once you have that, it will be sent, submitted, and once it's sent, it will actually tell you that there's a successful message that's sent. Okay, here is another tutorial on helping you control all the things that's in this course. So there's a number of things that's available in this course that are functionalities that I think you should all get familiar with. So one of the easiest things, of course, is to navigate with the mouse. If you actually navigate with the mouse, there's all these buttons and icons that's available here for you to select. So the most direct way is to use a mouse, but I will in this tutorial show you how to go about satisfying the keyboard controls to help those in need of the accessibility functions. So let's get started. So every course that you start, you would actually have an introduction page like this that would tell you as to what is coming up. This is called the coming up next page. And when I'm actually in this page, there's nothing really to do. It would just tell me what's coming up. It would actually take a certain amount of time. Then we would actually have Samus that's over here. Now I'm going to use my keyboard as I actually go through this.
I will now provide you a tour of the Cars e-learning platform.
All right, so what I'm doing right now is I'm actually controlling the volume with the keyboard. And so let's take a look at the actual icons that's available here on this page. So one of the first things that you need to get familiar with is the play and pause icon. So if you actually use the space bar, this would actually continue going back to the play and pause button. So you got to be very, very careful with that. You could play and pause and continue to the next item. All right, and you also have the menu, or you could call it the outline icon here, to go and select previous slides that you've already visited in the past. So I do have the first one as being the outline. Second one here is the play and pause button. All right. The third one, if you actually look at here, is the slide timing. We could call it the seek bar, but you cannot change any of the orders over here. And then you also have the time that's allowed for this particular slide to continue. Now, if you're one of those people that go, oh, you know what, I read it once and I don't have enough time to read all that, well, there's this next one, which is called the refresh icon. So if you actually wanted to refresh, you start all the way from the beginning, which will allow you to gain more time in viewing the slide. The next one here would be the icon for volume control. And as you can see right now, my volume is set to the lowest. But if I actually wanted to use a slider, I could actually bring it up to higher or lower. It would actually allow me to hear the sound and audio and music accordingly. All right. But the shortcut key is the up and down key. So I've actually gone up and I'm going down, and this would actually help me change the volume. The next one here is the closed caption function. This basically is allowing me to see all the text that's over here, but we pretty much have designed all the text on screen pretty much in all the slides. There aren't much text that's requiring the closed caption. The next one here would be full screen. So if I wanted to go full screen mode, there's me pressing this icon right now, which allows me to go full screen. If I want to minimize it back to the original screen size, then I would do this. All right. The shortcut key, as you can see here, is Control F. right? So if I go Control F, I could do full screen. If I go Control F again, back to normal view, full screen. Now the alternative is to press the Escape key. So if I press the Escape key, it does exactly the same thing. I would go back to my normal view. To have myself go to the next button, which is Previous Slide, and then Next Slide. Now in this particular exercise, I have not locked the next button, but in all cases you have to wait till all this here has gone to the full timing of this slide in order to click next. Otherwise it will actually tell you you have to finish the slide first before you can continue. Alright, so let's take a look at the shortcut keys. I would highly recommend all of you to take a picture of this page so that if you forget, at least you could come back and see this. So there's the space bar, which is to pause or continue to the next slide. Alright, and we also have the page up and down as the previous and next slide. The enter key, which is the next step. So if you actually use the next step key, you would actually be able to use that. The backspace key, which is this one here, you could actually use that to go back to the last view key page that you were on. Tab key is for selection. So if you actually wanted to select, for example, I want to select right now, I don't know if you see it, it's kind of hard to see it, but there's a white line around this box over here. If I tab again, it'll go to the refresh, tab again, it'll actually skip the volume because you already have it on the keyboard. You go to the closed caption, and if I want to select that, I just press the space bar. All right? And if I want to go full screen, I could do that by pressing tab again. The next tab would actually go back to previous, next tab would go to next tab would be somewhere else, and then back to this here. All right? So this is more or less all the shortcut keys that you would actually most likely use. The common ones is probably the tab key and the space and enter key, as well as volume up and volume down. The others, maybe not so much, but I like personally to view everything in full screen. It is designed to be viewed in full screen at all times. Once we have finished, we can press the next slide by pressing the space bar. And I'm now going to also talk about the exercises that you're going to be going through. With the exercise that's here, you do have yourself going through these questions where you have interactions. So as you can see, there's 3 options, and it's option 1, option 2, option 3. And if I actually have myself encountering this, I could see that there's a whole bunch of slides over here. There's 7 in total, and I'm on the first one of the 7th question. So it would be asking me a question or a topic. I would then go to the option and select. Now the shortcut key for this is tab. I could go to this one, press the space bar, tab again. I could actually go back to that. Now let's go and tab to go to option 2. I press the down arrow. If I want to go to the next option, then press down arrow again and then press the space bar. Tab again, I would then see that the submit button here is highlighted. All right, then I go to space, and it would actually say yes, I got the correct answer, or no, I did not get the correct answer. All right, so if I actually did that for the first question, this is the second question. It's multiple choice, as in multiple selection. So I could actually do this one here, and I could do tab. All right, I maybe say, hey, maybe question 1 is correct, question 2 is correct, question 3 is correct. So I go tab, space, tab, space, tab, space to select all 3. If I actually go tab again, you could see that this here is highlighted with the white frame. If I go continue, it would tell me, hey, I got the wrong answer. And this here would tell me, yes, the first answer, option 1, would have been the correct answer. All right? Once I'm done, I would actually press continue. And once I continue, I would then go to the next one. So there are certain exercises that require you to type in the actual answer. So let's say in this case, it's asking you a question, type in your response. So let's say I have the answer as in 1, 2, 3. All right, maybe that's the answer I'm looking for. I go next, that will be the correct answer, then that would show up as green. And if it happens to be arranged, it would be sequencing, as in what you would like to have is the first step or priority, second, third, and fourth, and so on and so forth. So the same way goes for this. I go tab, I then have this here. I have to press spacebar first, then go up and down arrow. Let's say this is, I think, the last item. Then I go up, I bring this here, and then maybe tap spacebar again, and number 2. All right, so I go 4, 3, 2, 1. Maybe that's what I have as the answer that I believe it's correct. Once you've decided, press tab until you get to the submit button, and then you press select. Next. That would actually tell you as to what the answer is. So, of course, in this case, it's incorrect. If it happens to be the matching exercises like this here, then you have the one side as being part of the answer, and the other side you have to match the answer. So here, let's say I have item 1, item 2, item 3. I have to match it with match 1, match 2, and match 3. So what I want to do is have myself go to match 1, select by spacebar, go up, and then I drop it by pressing space again. Then I have this here, it will be correct. So I have to press spacebar, go left arrow to join, and if I actually go up to match 1, I can't just leave it like this. I have to select by pressing the spacebar, then left, then go down to 3, spacebar, left to join. Now, of course, I could also manually do this by using the mouse. It's a lot more convenient for me to do the mouse. It's however I like. All right, so as you can see, I get this incorrect, and there are certain exercises that would allow you to retry as well. Next one here is to select the correct answer. If I go select the correct answer, it would be from the drop down. So if I go select, I would actually go and press tab until I get to the select, and I would then be able to see all the answers that I want. So I go answer 1, answer 2, answer 3. Let's say I go with answer 1 as my answer. I then press enter if I want to see all of it at once, or space if that's what I want. All right, then press tab until I get to submit, press spacebar, and I got it correct. There's also the surveys that you actually see here, and all that is that for the survey, it's whatever you choose as the answer, then you actually have yourself select that. All right, tab, next one, tab, next one, tab, next one. And then you go back to the submit button, and there you go. All right, and then at the end of every single activity, there's driving tips that would appear here. I could actually press with the mouse to hear the audio again if I wanted to. All right, so I could click on this to hear the audio if I wanted to. When I'm done, I would actually have myself exit that, and I would go back to my next activity. So as you can see here, there is a video that's going to be played here, and this video here I just put as a 20-second sample. So what I have here is a video. In order for me to play this in YouTube video, I do have to press the tab key. I do have the ability to press tab on YouTube as well. So YouTube here, I have that. I don't want to go there. I want to play it. So I would actually press enter, and I start playing. Now if I actually wanted to go and change the audio, I could go and change the audio down here, which I could go tab or seek, all right, or pause, and then the audio mute, go back to that. I could also go up and down for audio. It's the up and down arrow. And the next one here would be the closed caption. If you see the red line underneath here, that it means there's closed caption available for this video, and you would just select that, and that would actually start playing with the subtitle.
Oh, hey,
All right?
Scott called.
So you see the subtitle over here, but if I press that again, it would actually go and pause, disallow the closed caption. Then we have the menu from there, then YouTube. Now, of course, the next one here I like to also remind you of is the full screen function. So as you can see here, there's the letter F over here. So it's very close to the full screen that's on here, but we use Control F for the full screen over here on this. But in this case, because we're watching YouTube, it's just the letter F for full screen. If I want to escape or press the F key again, it would go back to the normal size. All right, so that's how it is. Now we do have certain videos that's longer than 7 minutes, so the ministry would only allow us to watch up to a certain point. So 7 minutes is about there. That's where I would actually stop the video. That's what this marker is all about. All right, so this here is just a reminder that you don't go any further than this video that's shown here. And once you're done, you will then continue with the next, and that's the end of the tutorial on the shortcut keys. I hope you learn a few things from here. So the very, very last thing here is to have myself enter the information. Anytime it's asking for this here for the tutorial, I would enter the information here accordingly. Otherwise, it could give me problems. All right? So I would enter all this here, go and continue, and I agree, next, submit, and then it should send that off to the server. Okay? If you ever have yourself, let's say, wanting to log in and you forgot your password. Let's say I did happen to forget my password. I do have the two-factor authentication code, or I enter it 3 times incorrectly by mistake for whatever reason. Okay, once it's invalid. All right, the system would actually recognize that there's a problem. I log in again. Maybe I change the password this time. I still have myself a problem. Okay, but a third attempt, I'm sorry, you have been locked out of this account. So what you need to do is you need to contact your driving school in this case to get this account reactivated. All right? There's nothing that you could do if you cannot log in like this. 3 failed attempts will cause you to be locked out.